is up, everybody? Happy New Year from Bobby at Bobby's Breakdowns. And yes, this is the last stream of 2023. I almost said four there, getting used to it. But yes, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be predicting the college football playoff, the NFL playoffs as they stand right now, and we're going to be talking a little MVP race and maybe some other things. But I do have a few guests joining me. So with that being said, they have been here before, so welcome them back. First, we will introduce my cousin-in-law, I guess you call him, Greg Seco. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Bob? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, buddy. How we doing?
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And we do have one more guest. He has been on the stream a few times, actually, now. My brother, who's currently right upstairs, Matty.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you all. It's a football stream today. Ryan says, yo, yo, yo. What's up, Ryan? That was weird.
Love the profile pic, Ryan.
Very, very handsome.
But yes, I wore my new shirt today. Thank you, Nicolette, for that. I'll make sure to send her this later.
Congrats, Matty.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations are in the air, but that's another time. We talk football today. I'm just kidding. So, college football playoff is tomorrow. We're just over 24 hours away. And let's dive into some predictions. We can talk if we think a certain team got robbed, if we want, but
well, I think, you could start with that, Bobby. You just said Florida State got robbed.
Listen.
You're stirring the pot a little bit.
Yeah. Listen, they did get smacked in the Sugar Bowl or Orange Bowl, but they still were 13-0. But they weren't going to go anywhere with that third-string quarterback. I don't know if Rodemaker would have made much of a difference in the game yesterday. Probably not. FSU, like Greg said, off camera. Half of them entered the transfer portal. Half of them chose not to play because they felt they got robbed. And that's what happens when you put not your best guys out there. And Georgia does put your best guys out there.
Here's your only argument you have, Bob. In the ACC is 7-4 against the SEC in bowl games. Ooh. So that is your argument for ACC. They should be in the playoff because they won 7 out of 4, or 7-4.
7 out of yeah. If Florida State would have won yesterday, that would have caused some chaos for sure. But
you would have had a Central Florida where they claim they're the national champions.
Yeah, another one.
Oh yeah,
championship.
Yep. I sent that meme to them a while ago. It's Michael Scott and his old boss shaking hands, and it says UCF national champs, Florida State national champs.
There you go.
That was well before yesterday, of course, but yes, I believe the first game is Michigan and Bama tomorrow. So
what time does it start?
5:45 or 5:15.
Okay, and it's where is it? Is it Texas or Florida?
I think they're at Jerry
New Orleans, maybe.
No, I think it's NRG Stadium, Texan Stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that stadium. Cool. Yeah. So I know Michigan and Alabama are first. I just don't know what the exact time is. I'm trying to find it, and it's not working right now. Yeah. But who do we got? I'll start with you, Matty.
Okay. Well, first off, I guess to go into this game and what you were just talking about, I think in the end, given everything, I think the committee got it right. If you're looking at not leaving Florida State out, if you look at strength of schedule, I understand the bowl games, but bowl games with the transfer portal and everyone's sitting out, who knows? It's not truly best on best. But if you look at strength of schedule, really it comes down to that. Florida State's just wasn't there, even though they went 13-0. I mean, Liberty also went 13-0, 12-0, whatever. So, I mean, why aren't they in it? But I think, and what I was really interested to see is that they should, I don't know if they wrote it the night before, the selection show, but the committee, the demographics for the committee to pick their 4 teams, it was actually in there that including a player or coach that is not available, which I think is crazy. I ultimately think it becomes an invitational rather than a playoff. I think they're mislabeling it at that point. But given that criteria and demographics, I think they made the right choice, and I'm just glad that it's going to 12 teams next year. And I think this proves exactly why it was a flawed system.
Matty, you're 100% right. As soon as they showed that graphic the night when they picked the college football playoff, you knew what was coming next. You knew Florida State was going to be like that. They didn't put that graphic on the screen for no reason.
Yeah.
And they've never put it on there before.
I know.
I've never seen that.
Once I saw it, I said, "Oh no, come on."
Yeah, but anyway, going back to your original question, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that of all 3 games, the 2 semifinals and the final, I think Alabama versus Michigan is going to be the best game. I think it's really going to come down to the end. But what I'm going to say is that we've seen Penn State and Ohio State kind of be exposed a little bit. I mean, again, Ohio State didn't have some people, but still, I maybe the Big Ten's not as good as we thought, but I think Alabama squeaks it out. I think they'll come back with a vengeance. I'm going to say it's going to be. I think it'll be lower scoring. I'm going to say 27-24.
That was going to be my prediction.
Oh, really?
You got Bama?
Yes, I got Bama.
I'll go 27-24 Michigan. I agree.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to be super close. I think that the Big Ten, they have such good defenses that, and I love Tennessee tomorrow as well, but if you look at the spread, the spread's going down, and yet all the money's on Tennessee, and it's the same thing with Michigan. The spread is going reverse. So that goes to show me that you got Michigan and Iowa are both going to either win or cover, because good teams win, great teams cover.
That's right.
And I think I'll take Michigan, and then Iowa scares the crap out of me also that game, but nevertheless, I'll go Michigan.
I'm going with Bama. 21-17. I think it might be a little bit of a defensive battle. I don't know. Bama every year every time they sneak in, they're dangerous. I don't know. And I don't trust Michigan, to be completely honest with you.
Don't you trust about Michigan?
They've blown it the last few years.
Okay.
But third time's a charm.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I just them losing to TCU last year was. I mean, TCU was good. Don't get me wrong, but
who did they lose to? Who did they lose to 2 years ago?
Was it Georgia?
Yeah, I think so.
It might have been Georgia.
Think there was one year they played Georgia in the semis, and
that must have been Georgia then.
And Georgia beat them pretty easily. It was like 35-10 or something.
Yeah. If
I remember correctly. Yeah, like I said. And then everyone last year thought it was going to be Georgia-Michigan for the title, but it ended up being Georgia-TCU, and TCU got smacked. But, all right.
Do you think Harbaugh coming back is going to make a difference? The way I see it, I feel like that was an added chip on their shoulder for the last couple of games of the season. But now that he's coming back, I feel like that edge is gone, and I feel like Alabama has that edge now, being the 4 seed, so they'll have extra motivation to play.
Yeah, I'm with you, Matty.
Yeah. Well, I've been on record about this. I hated the 4 gym stuff. I absolutely he was just suspended. He wasn't dead. He
died.
Yeah, that's what I was like. You got to stop. I understand you're trying to make a point, but come on. Yeah, it was just awful. But the Michigan-Alabama game is definitely the most interesting one. It seems like this.
I love that you guys both are. I love both you guys are picking Bama, and I have Michigan. That's good for me.
It's a combo of me not trusting Michigan and that one year when Bama snuck in at the very last minute. They ended up winning it all.
Well, and they're the
And
hottest team going right now.
yeah, and
Yeah,
this
you got to ride the hot hand.
Yep.
and
Absolutely.
this would make a case for this would kill all the committee's like problems. They're like, oh yeah, we put Bama in, but look what happened. They beat Michigan. You know,
Right.
like
Yep.
FSU wouldn't have done that. So that's just my thinking. I don't know. We'll see. Onto the second game, and I got the times. It is 5 p.m. and 8:45 Eastern.
Jeez,
So
8:45. Why so late?
yeah, uh,
I can understand New Year's Eve it being late.
Yeah.
People will be
Yeah.
up, but the next day, come on. I mean, because it's also it's at the Rose Bowl, right?
the late game is the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, no,
What?
that's right. The Bama and Michigan are Rose Bowl in California, and they're the early game, and then the
Yeah.
other game is in, I believe, Texas, and they're the late game, which makes no sense.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 p.m. California start time, and what 7:45 for
Maybe, yeah.
Sugar Bowl. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Why didn't they just do like 1 and 5?
I don't know. None of this makes sense to me.
Yeah, everybody's off. It's not like they're going against the NFL. Obviously, they would have moved around. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
It's probably because that stupid Rose Bowl parade. They have to be first. They have the parade, and then they go right into
Yeah.
it.
Probably. Yeah, because that's always New Year's Day, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Did Bobby just roll his eyes? Probably. I don't know. I always do. It's usually what happens when you talk, Ryan. Just kidding. All right. On to the other semifinal game. Now, this one is rather interesting because on the other side, you got two, I'll say, powerhouses. And on this side, you got a team who wasn't top 4 coming into the week, but they did somehow manage to get in and jump. I think they jumped like 4 spots. Texas, when it was a mystery if they would get in, and 13-0 Washington, which, I mean, Washington's pretty good, but I don't know. Who do we got on that game? I'll start with Greg this time.
All right, I think I'm gonna go against the grain again. I got Washington. I think Michael Penix, even though I don't think he'll be a good pro, I think he's a really good college player, and I think they're getting hot at the right time, just like Bama. Also love Rome Odunes, the receiver for Washington for the pros next year. I love that. I think he's the second receiver behind Marvin Harrison, but nevertheless, give me Washington. Give me the points, especially. I think it'll be close, high scoring game.
Matty?
Yeah, I agree with that. Kind of the opposite of Michigan. Bama, the Big 12 and the Pac-12 aren't exactly known for their stout defensiveness. So yes, I think it's going to be a relatively higher scoring game. I think it'll be close for a half, but then I see Washington kind of putting the nail in the coffin a bit because I think they have a superior offensive line. I think that's going to be the difference in this game because what Penix Jr. needs and those wide receivers, why they're so successful, is that offensive line gives Penix time to get back and scramble. I'm with you, Greg. I don't think he would be a great professional quarterback because of the limited time. But when he has time and you allow the amazing Washington wide receivers to get open, there's nobody better in the nation that can create more space. A top 2 or 3 wide receivers, I think they're amazing, and that allows Penix to get the ball to them. So I think that will ultimately be the difference maker. I'm going to say for a score, 45.
Whoa.
45 38.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of passing. but ultimately, I mean, and Quinn Ewers is good. Is really good.
Do you like him at the next level?
I like him as a backup.
Yeah.
I think he would be a very good backup. Like who's gosh, like I could see him becoming like a Chase Daniel, like
Oh,
Chase Daniel had the best career of any quarterback ever.
Yeah.
He got $100 million and played 10 snaps.
Exactly.
Chase Daniel's like the best backup quarterback of all time.
But you know what? I'm hesitant because I hold it against him. He was I don't want to say fatter, but he was bigger and not as skilled last year. He looks like a totally different quarterback this year, and he's much better. So if he has that type of dedication, I would not put it past him to become a solid, not amazing, but a solid starter in the NFL. So I don't want to knock him, but just right now, I only see him as a long-term backup, but I could absolutely, in the long run, see him as being a starting quarterback.
Did you guys see the video at the National Championship Media Day? There's a crowd surrounding Arch Manning, and nobody's at Quinn Ewers' table, but yet he's a starting quarterback, and Arch is just backing up.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting, especially since Quinn's coming back now next year.
Yeah. There's going to be a huge chip on his shoulder this game and come back to prove why are you talking to Arch Manning just because his uncles are, legends.
Yeah, exactly. And
I would be pissed.
Yeah. So I think it speaks a lot to Arch though that he wants to stay at Texas.
Yeah.
Still,
No,
after all that.
So, Ryan, I did roll my eyes before, but this time it was warranted. Yeah.
Large Penix energy.
Yeah, that's definitely warranted for an eye roll. But a part of me wants to root for Texas because I'm an Oklahoma guy. And if Texas ends up winning the national championship, there's only one loss on that record, and that's the Oklahoma Sooners.
Stop.
I mean, it's true. It's true. Am I wrong?
No, but you want your rival to win it all, so you could get a little buzz for yourself. Come on.
Yeah, we beat the national champs.
Stop it.
Do you take stock in? I think that's it. As a fan, do you even take stock in that? Like, if you beat the team that won the national championship?
No, absolutely not. Because I could have said I had a dynasty for the Jets when Tom Brady beat them every year, and then they went and win the Super Bowl. And like the one time Sanchez would beat them, but the Patriots go on to win, I would take credit for the Patriots Super Bowl, which I don't, which is silly.
Yeah, no. As a player, like growing up in sports, I would take more stock in that. If my team or if I beat the team that eventually won the championship. But as a fan, I don't buy that.
Yeah, no.
I
sorry, Robert.
If Texas finishes 14-1, assuming they win the 2 games, there's that one loss. And who is it? The Oklahoma Sooners.
So Sooners are 2 then?
Well, at one point they would have been.
No, I think they'd be 3 because whoever they lost to in the bowl game. Who was that?
What?
Who did they lose to in the bowl game?
Oh, Oklahoma, Arizona.
Yeah, so Arizona would be number 2
lost
by
your
that
bowl
logic.
game.
No. Arizona didn't beat Texas.
Because you didn't have your quarterback, so you're going to say that.
Arizona didn't beat Texas. We're 10-3. We finished the season 10-3.
10-3. Okay.
Yeah. And you're home, sitting on the couch, watching these teams play in the college football championship.
Well, we did beat Texas. And at that point, I was like, oh, we could make a run. And then they lost 2 weeks later, and then they lost again a week later. And that was that.
I think the best is yet to come, though, for Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I love Brett Venables and his defense. And I like him as a coach. I think if he can get a good offensive mind and a good quarterback and give him another couple years, because you got to remember the Big 12 was not defense. But now that they're going to the SEC, they will be able to recruit defense. I think they could be a force to be reckoned with. in the next couple of years.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I love Dylan Gabriel going to Oregon. Give me Dylan Gabriel for the Heisman next year, baby. That is a great pickup for them. He is going to be perfect for that offense.
Yeah, you're 10
And
of college.
I think he adds the running element that I feel Bo Nix didn't have.
Yep.
Almost. I mean, Mariota was a runner. He wasn't afraid to run. I think that's what Dylan Gabriel gives them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a great pickup by them.
When I saw he was a redshirt senior, and I'm like, oh, he's going pro, and they were like, oh, he's transferred. I'm like, how many years in college does this guy have?
Now with the transfer portal, if you're a big time team like these blue chip schools, why wouldn't you just sit back and let the transfer portal happen and then grab one of these veteran type guys rather than going out and get a top high school prospect? Let somebody else develop them. Get them developed somewhere else, and then take them in their senior year when they're actually ready to go and win. Now with the NIL and with the transfer portal, college football is so screwed up, and they got to change it. Number one, by starting, do not let people transfer more than one time, because you're going to see these guys transferring every single year.
Yep.
And they're going to go for the most money, so they could go from USC to Penn State to here to there, make $5-10 million. And they're going to be making more than Brock Purdy. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely. So they got to fix it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So as of right now, in most cases, unless you've graduated, you can only transfer one time for free. If you transfer again without having graduated, you have to sit out a year. But we don't really see that. And actually, there's something you said, Greg, that I was going to comment on about transferring in the transfer portal. Shoot.
What, letting other people develop your quarterback and then
exactly. So because everyone gets one free transfer, why would I take a kid out of high school when he can transfer somewhere else? Or I just take a kid after he transfers and now he's locked in until he graduates. That's at least 2 years. Like it makes so much sense to take guys who are unhappy after their freshman year, who are really good, and just become successful that way.
Right.
For sure. Interesting. Yeah. But this, you said this is the last year of the COVID eligibility, right?
I think so.
Okay, because this is getting out of hand. I'm just saying. There was one guy, I can't remember what school it was, but he was a 5th-year sophomore, and it's like, dude, it's like, come on.
I think so, because COVID started in the spring, so it would be the spring athletes were first, and then the fall athletes were last.
Hey, man, I'll tell you how old I am. Chris Wenke played his senior year at 28 years old. Remember that?
Well, yeah, he did.
28 years old. So could be, it's like Van Wilder. He could be in school for 9 years. It doesn't matter.
Dude, there's the one Miami tight end. He's trying to get like a 9th year of eligibility. It's like, bro,
it's a lot of knee injuries.
It's like, move on, dude.
Give it up. Time to get a job, buddy.
Yeah. It's like, come on. And then what was the stat with Bo Nix? He played Justin Herbert in college. Mm-hmm. Justin Herbert has been in the NFL for 4 years. Yep. It's like, holy moly. But all right, I don't think I gave my pick. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Washington 28-24. I think Washington's gonna squeak it out. So Greg,
we all on Washington?
I think, yeah.
Greg has Michigan, Washington. Me and Matty have Bama, Washington, if memory serves. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. We got anything more we want to add to this college football talk before we move on to pro?
Nah, I'm good.
No, don't want to pick our the finals.
Oh, yeah.
Who's your champion?
Yeah. You want me to start?
Sure.
Yep. Go ahead, Bob.
I have been saying since the day of the selection show, once Bama got in, this has a Bama national championship written all over it. I hate it, but I'm going to say I'm going with Bama. I hate it, but all right. Matty, who you got?
Bama as well. This is exactly the type of scenario that Bama would win the championship. And like I said before, I think they're going to pretty handedly beat Washington. I'll go on to say it'll be like they'll win by like maybe 21. I think they're going to beat them up bad. I think that defense is going to pick off Penix. I think they're just going to have a really tough time. Because, I mean, Washington, they had their struggles throughout the year. I think it was against Arizona State during this year. That defense played him so well. And it was just like one pick six that turned the tide, which I can very easily see the Bama defense doing. We'll see, though.
I think they had a problem with Washington State, too.
They did. Cam Ward. Remember the name Cam Ward. He's going to be a quarterback to watch out for next year. He's transferred from Incarnate Word to Washington State, and then he's been just put up ridiculous numbers. And if Washington State could be any type of good next year, he'll be a Heisman candidate. But nevertheless.
I mean, they could. You got a 50% chance of being Pac-12 champs. So, I mean,
there's not much left, right?
True. Yeah.
Well, I got Michigan. I'm taking Michigan.
Okay.
I think this is the year Jim finally gets over the hump. I think that their defense is really good. I think that McCarthy is formidable. I don't think that he's, I don't like him at the next level, but nevertheless, I think that they could do enough to win the national championship. Don't think Alabama's that good. They're just getting hot at the right time, which is scary. I agree with you both. But yeah, give me Michigan. I think, like I believe Matty said before, the winner of Bama Michigan, I think, is going to be your national champion. I don't think, even though I love Washington, I love some of their players on there, I just don't think they have enough to compete with the Michigan or Bama.
Yeah. So I was. Go ahead.
Greg, what do you think is this? How do I ask this? What do you think is the scenario that Harbaugh leaves Michigan? Do you think he's more likely and go to the NFL? Do you think he's more likely to leave if they win, or he's more likely to leave if they lose?
I think he's more likely to leave if they win. I think he's the type of guy that, okay, I came here, I did what I needed to do, my job is done. Leave it in the hands of another Michigan alumni, because you know how they love each other over there.
Yeah.
Leave it to another Michigan alumni, and then go to the NFL, to a job where, because you got a couple spots in the NFL now. Everybody's looking for coaches and quarterbacks. So he jumps, he could get a top pick, and then on top of that, take his guy, his quarterback, just like he did with the 49ers, and then, rebuild the NFL franchise. With that being said, I don't think he leaves. I think him leaving at all is slim, but better chance if he wins.
Yeah.
I believe they offered him a 10-year, $125 million deal. I believe that was the rumor.
Which is unbelievable considering the NCAA rule allegations that he's got going on. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Money talks.
Yes,
it does. Yeah, I think they're going to keep him one way or another. I don't think he's going back to the pros anytime soon, unless they offer him something like that or more.
No, I think Michigan will come back and offer him just as much money he make in the pros. And why have to deal with at Michigan? He runs the show. Everything goes through him. He's the general manager, the coach, this, that. Why have to go to the NFL and deal with that bullshit? You know what I mean? With a stupid owner, rich owner, have to deal with a general manager. He has full control in Michigan. It's a no-brainer. He stays.
Yeah, I think so too. It'll be interesting to see though. So tomorrow. But just like I said earlier, a little over 24 hours away, 5 p.m. Eastern, is the Rose Bowl. So we get to see who advanced earlier. But yes, we are all on the train of whoever wins Michigan, Bama is winning the national championship, it seems like. So yeah, let's transition into pro football. Now, we don't know matchups yet. The playoffs are still 2 weeks away, I believe. And but as of right now, let's go by conference. Okay. Thank you. As of right now, in the AFC, like I said, as of right now, these are the playoff teams. Baltimore Ravens are the 1 seed. Miami Dolphins 2. It says Cleveland Browns 3, but that's definitely not possible. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing here. Kansas City 3, Jacksonville 4. Jacksonville at 8-7. Greg, I think we both predicted Jacksonville to win the division in the earlier stream.
Yeah,
I
and
think-
they're about to blow it.
But they're not they're not looking too hot.
CJ Beathard.
Yeah. The 5 seed is the Cleveland Browns. The 6
Yeah, I
seed,
think that's what you're looking at, Bob. I think I'm looking at the same thing from NFL.com. The
Oh, I'm on
Browns are there
ESPN.
because they clinched the division, but they're the 5 seed right now.
Wait, who clinched the division?
The Browns, didn't they?
No,
No,
the
no.
the Ravens are the top team
Oh,
there.
duh. No, they clinched a playoff spot.
Playoffs,
That's
yeah.
what it
Yeah.
is.
Oh, that's what it is. So, but I'm looking at the side. It says 1, 2, 5, 3, 6. Okay. So 1 is Ravens, 2 is Dolphins, 3 Chiefs, 4 Jaguars, 5 Browns, 6 Bills, and 7. I love this because I absolutely love this man. The Indianapolis Colts.
Minshew
Gardner
Mania.
Minshew. I love that man. I still have his Jaguars shirt upstairs.
You should. He's a legend.
The stories of him is just it's hysterical. And man, I'm looking at this right now. The Chargers, man, what a disappointment they were.
Yeah.
They stink.
And Greg, obviously we couldn't have predicted this, but I believe we both picked Cincinnati to win the division.
I know. Well, I had Joe Burrow for MVP too.
Yeah,
How did that work out? Not good.
I think I picked Jalen Hurts for MVP.
You still at least got a horse in the race.
Yeah, that's true. At least he's still there. I don't think he wins, but all right. So the only team to clinch the division so far into the NFC is the San Francisco 49ers and Detroit Lions have both clinched their respective divisions. Good thing it didn't come down to last night's game for the Lions because that was awful. But all right, as of right now, it stands. The 1 seed is the San Francisco 49ers. 2 seed, Philadelphia Eagles. 3 seed, Detroit Lions. 4 seed at 8-7, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 5 seed, Dallas Cowboys. 6 seed, Los Angeles Rams, which is very interesting. We will get to that in a second. 7 seed is Seattle Seahawks. All right, so as of right now, the matchup for it would be Detroit playing LA, and Stafford has to come home. That's interesting if that were to happen. And after what Jared Goff showed me last night, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams beat them.
Yeah. No, I could see it, but that Lions defense is very, very good.
After what I saw last night,
they gave up only 20 points.
Yeah, but they gave up a 92-yard touchdown.
That was awesome, by the way. Sorry, I'll turn my video back on in a minute.
You're good. No worries.
I think the Rams, as good as Cooper Kupp and Puka are, I think they just got too many holes that I think the Lions could expose on offense through their running game. They got really good running backs. And even though Jared Goff isn't amazing, I think run away with that.
I hate that, man. Absolutely hate that, man. But yeah, Ryan, we will be talking about Lamar Jackson. Gavin said, let's go Texans. They are very much in the hunt. They're just not in a playoff spot as of right now. But, CJ Stroud he was balling out until he got the concussion. And then Ryan, Greg is right there. Don't worry. My editor was worried about you, Greg.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. My dogs are barking and kids are walking out the door of my wife. I didn't need a whole disruption going on.
Yeah, it's good. But, it could be Stafford going to Detroit to play them in a playoff game. If that happens, that would be very interesting, to say the least. But
Stafford, you get a standing ovation when he comes out. I don't care if it's a playoff game or not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably. So, man, my Packers are in 10th right now, but they're only 1 game out. They have the tiebreaker over the Rams. They didn't play Seattle, and they might have the tiebreaker over Minnesota, depending on what happens tonight. Yeah, Jaron. If the Packers don't beat this backup quarterback, we already lost to Tommy DeVito. We already lost to Baker Mayfield at home, which I love Baker Mayfield, but we should have won that game. It's interesting, but yeah,
you're missing the biggest thing.
what
If
of our
you
losses?
lose to Jaron Hall,
Yeah,
he was Zach Wilson's backup at BYU. If you lose to Zach Wilson's backup, you know it's bad.
Yeah, no,
okay.
we're done. That gives us
That's it.
That gives
Turn
us a
it in.
ninth loss. Yeah, that gives us a ninth loss. We're out for sure. We do have the tiebreaker over the Rams, though, which is interesting because when we played them, Stafford was out. So we benefited from that one heavily. All right. Ravens are the 1 seed.
So who's your guys' Super Bowl matchup if you're looking at the playoffs as it stands now?
Oh,
and don't give me Ravens 49ers. That's too obvious.
No, I'm trying not to. I don't think the Ravens are going to make it there.
Me neither. I actually agree with you.
Who's going to beat them?
They always choke.
But we're talking about teams getting hot at the right time. The Buffalo Bills right now, man.
Yep.
They're hot. I'm not a believer in the Chiefs this year, even though it's very hard to go against Pat Mahomes. Yeah, I think it's the Ravens or the Bills, but give me the Bills. I think the Bills make it out of the AFC.
What about Joe Flacco? Are we ruling that out?
All right, so listen, this is actually a great thing to bring up with you guys. Me and my brothers were talking about this the other night. The Chiefs play the Browns at Arrowhead, first round of the playoffs.
That's
Who are you taking? Joe Flacco or Pat Mahomes?
Mahomes is struggling right now. I mean, like you said, there's something about getting hot at the right time, and Joe Flacco came in. We'll actually talk about comeback player of the year too in a little. But
okay.
The Chiefs at home are so tough, though.
Yeah,
that's the point. That's why the question's so good, because are you really gonna back 40-year-old Joe Flacco and the Browns on the road in Arrowhead against Kansas City? But if you watch the games, your eyes tell you the Browns are a better football team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That would be a cool game. I don't know. I think it would be close. I think I would give the edge to the Chiefs, though. Slight edge. I'm not saying Chiefs would blow them out, but just that slight edge. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. So Super Bowl matchup. You did say if the Browns make the Super. Somebody said Browns Lions for the Super Bowl. Now that would be amazing. One way or another. I'm gonna go. Oh God, I can't believe I'm doing this, but here we are. I'm gonna go Dolphins 49ers.
I don't hate it.
Wow.
Yeah. It was either Dolphins 49ers or Dolphins Eagles, but yeah, I don't know. What do you got, Matty, as of right now?
So I like to see new teams in the Super Bowl. That's just always fun. So ideally, I would like to see Dolphins Lions. I think that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
But both teams, I feel like, have been playing in survival mode for maybe the past few weeks. And any team that's playing in survival mode, even if they win, it doesn't bode well in the playoffs. So ultimately, I think neither of them will make it. I'm with you, Greg. I think it's going to be Ravens or Bills from the AFC. I see the Ravens. Yes, I know they always choke. They're kind of like Michigan, right? But I think they're probably the most complete team in the NFL. And yeah, I just think they're going to.
Isn't that funny? You said kind of like Michigan. Who is the coach of the Ravens and Michigan?
That's
Harbaugh brothers.
Yep. That's a little
it's a family business.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. And then from the NFC, I'm going to give it to who I see as the most complete team in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow.
Yes.
I can't hate that one.
I think they've got it all together. They've also, that team has played in that same team has played in the Super Bowl before, has won a Super
10
Bowl.
months ago. Yeah.
I just think it won't phase them like the new teams, like the Lions, or the Cowboys, or whomever they end up playing. I don't like Brock Purdy that much. Yeah, I think he'll be the ultimate downfall of the 49ers. So I'm going to go with Ravens, Eagles, but my heart wants Dolphins, Lions.
There you go.
I'm for a new team Super Bowl. I mean, but even the Bills, when was the last time they went? Like,
Yeah, a long time ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I hope you're right, Matty, with the Eagles. I do have a free $10 bet to win 16 grand, okay? I have the Texas Rangers to win the World Series, so that's good. I have Michigan to win the national championship, so we're still alive there.
TBD.
The Eagles to win the Super Bowl, and then Boston Celtics to win the NBA Finals.
Ooh.
So I am kind of biased because I do have a futures bet in, but nevertheless, I agree with you. I think if the Eagles get there, they'll win. I don't think they're getting there. Give me the 49ers. Give me the Bills. I don't think anybody beats the 49ers if they're at full strength.
Yeah.
And then the Bills are just a hot team. I think they're getting hot at the right time. Agree with Matty. Ravens probably most complete team, but they're choke artists. They'll find a way to screw it up at the end.
Yep.
And I don't hate the Dolphins pick, but the problem is I think they peaked at the wrong time. They were so hot earlier this year,
I agree.
scoring at will. And now they're getting banged up. Their offensive line screwed up. Waddle and Mostert aren't playing today. Hill's banged up. They're just not in a good spot come playoff time. With that said, if they play in a dome or have home field advantage, they're going to be really hard to beat in the playoffs because their offense is so good. But, again, my answer to your question is 49ers and Bills. Win it all.
I can't hate that pick, honestly. Gavin says Joe Flacco, he's going to do it. Oh, my God. Could you imagine Joe Flacco taking the Browns to a Super Bowl?
I would love to see Joe Flacco versus Ravens in the AFC Conference Finals. That would be awesome.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
Bobby hates Lamar. He's a choke artist, Ryan. We all agreed on this panel. So I don't know.
He does.
Yeah. He's been – what was the one year? They got the 1 seed and they got whooped by Tennessee?
Yeah, he does. But I think
he's got a great team, but they just can't put it together.
I really like Zay Flowers. And
me too.
And I think having him, I took him on my fantasy team. Unfortunately, it was too early. He didn't get hot until I was already out of the playoff picture. But I think him being hot right now bodes really well for the Ravens.
Yeah, he's finding his stride.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers figuring it out. The first guy, whenever he catches the ball, first guy doesn't tackle him. He makes the first guy miss every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, so, all right. So I have Dolphins, 49ers. Greg, you have 49ers, Bills.
Yep.
And Matty, you picked 2, but which one are you going with?
No, the one. Yeah. Ravens Eagles is my
Eagles. Okay.
My head pick.
The Battle of the Birds. We just okay. All right. So those are our Super Bowl predictions for as of right now. I think the Packers get in. I'm saying it here. I think they sneak in. There'll be a 7th seed if anything. There'll be a 7th seed if anything. Listen, don't be mad because your quarterback blew out his leg. Okay.
Okay. We're coming back with vengeance next year.
He never did that on my team. The most he got was a broken collarbone. Just saying. I mean, he broke it like 3 times, but that's another story for another time. All right, MVP race. Actually, should we end with MVP race or should we do comeback player of the year right now?
I feel like both at the same time. Do comeback and MVP, same shot.
All right. Well, no. That's what I'm saying. Which one do we do first?
Oh, whatever you want. It's your show.
We'll do comeback. We'll end with MVP. That's why I was like, we're not doing it on another show. Comeback player of the year. There are 3 choices, in my opinion. Two of them are very well deserving. One of them has played maybe total 10 snaps, but because of what happened, I believe a year ago tomorrow,
That was
he
New.
is in.
That was January 1st.
It was either January 1st or the 2nd.
I forget.
I don't remember. It's close. It's right on the doorstep of a year, for sure.
Mhm.
Who do we?
The
this
answer is
is-
Joe Flacco. I can't give it to DeMar Hamlin. It's
I know,
great that
it's
he's
so tough.
alive. It's a great
Yeah.
story. It's awesome. He doesn't deserve it. I'm sorry.
I agree. I think there's another, if there was like a toughness award or
Sure.
something like that, I would give it to DeMar, but I think a criteria for comeback player of the year means you have to have a really good year this year.
Yeah.
You have
You
to.
can't have 5 special teams tackles. That
Yes.
doesn't cut it.
It's tough to pick against them. And I did see one the other day, and you both are Jets fans, so you won't find this funny, but I found it funny. It said argument for comeback player of the year. Joe Flacco and DeMar Hamlin. DeMar Hamlin came back from death. Joe Flacco played for the Jets, arguably worse than death.
That's pretty good.
That's what it said. I was like, huh. And also, I want to throw this name out there. Who's the third name you think I have in my mind, Greg, for comeback player of the year?
Give me NFC or AFC.
NFC.
Oh, your boy Baker Mayfield.
Yes. I'm not
Great.
saying he's going to win, but he deserves to be in the conversation.
That's fair. I'm with you.
I'm not saying he should win, but he deserves what he's playing great this year. I give him credit. Maybe they'll make a DeMar Hamlin award for toughness. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the DeMar Hamlin Perseverance Award.
Something like that,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, they could easily do that, and it would be like then it would answer all the questions. Yeah, it's like but yeah, I don't. It's like I said, it's so hard. DeMar Hamlin, you're inspired by the story, but it's like he's got what 5 tackles? You said he's got 10 plays in total, and
It's ridiculous.
And Joe, nobody predicted the Browns to be in this spot with Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they signed Deshaun Watson to what was it, $230 million?
Yep.
It's like, yeah. All right. So you going with Flacco?
Oh yeah.
Matty, Flacco.
When do they pick these awards? Is it
after the regular season?
During the playoffs or after the regular season?
It's the award show is a few days before the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So playoffs could be included.
No, I think it's because it's a regular season award, so it's throughout the regular season.
Yeah, they just announced it right before the Super Bowl.
Gotcha. That makes it tough because I think like if the Browns won one playoff game, I think it would for sure go to Joe Flacco. It is very hard though to, I still stand by my idea that 5 special teams tackles should not win, but how it goes, I have a feeling they're going to pick DeMar.
I do too. I think they're going to pick DeMar. Just, I would give it to Flacco or Mayfield, but that's just it's hard to say like, oh no, DeMar Hamlin doesn't deserve it. It's kind of it's a touchy subject for sure. But all right, we'll move on. All right,
you don't in plain English, you don't want to sound like an asshole, but it is what it is.
It's like
speaking realistically, yeah.
If you think about it, comeback player of the year, he came back from anything worse than anybody has had. I mean, by far.
He was dead, and he came back to life. He's a modern day zombie. It's unbelievable. He deserves the award with 5 tackles, but it drives you crazy.
It's the most deserving player to play barely a game, anything, to be scratched most of the season. All right, so last topic we will tackle for 2024 and today, MVP race. As of a week ago, Brock Purdy had it locked up, but Brock Purdy decided to go out there and throw 4 INTs. So Brock Purdy doesn't have it anymore. I would say the favorites right now, Lamar, McCaffrey. I don't know if Tyreek Hill is still in play. He should be, but I think it's, as of right now, it's Lamar's award to win. Do we agree?
I'm giving it to McCaffrey.
It's fair.
That team is. I mean, yeah, Purdy fine. McCaffrey's the heartbeat of that team. Without him, they're not half as what they would be. I'm giving it to McCaffrey. Lamar close second, but I agree with you. If Tyreek Hill did not get hurt and he was still doing what he's been doing, he's the winner. Just because of this. But he's banged up, hasn't played in 2 weeks or barely played.
You don't think that Tua would deserve it over him since Tua's throwing him every pass?
So then you could say the same thing, Brock Purdy to Christian McCaffrey. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, is the MVP a quarterback award or is it the best player in football?
Yeah.
I said a few weeks ago before Tyreek Hill got hurt, if he goes for 2,000 yards, you should give it to him. But I don't think he's going to get there as of right now because he's been hurt. He would have had to. I think he needs something like 180 yards a game for the next 2 weeks. So we'll see.
I'm playing against him in fantasy. Let's hope he doesn't get 180 today.
Gavin says Baker's sleeper pick for comeback player of the year. Yeah, he deserves to be in the combo, Gavin, for sure. Like McCaffrey, yeah. Unless Lamar chokes it away, which he might. I think it's Lamar as of right now.
Stats wise, yeah. When it comes down to numbers, I think you give it to Lamar, but by definition, the player most valuable to his team, McCaffrey. Absolutely.
Yeah, McCaffrey. Yeah, for sure. They would have. I don't think they are the same team without McCaffrey. That was a great trade they made for sure. What was that, like 2 years ago now? Last year maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll tell you this. It's pretty sad though. Look at Lamar Jackson's stats from his previous MVP year compared to this MVP. Yeah. His stats from this previous MVP are ridiculous compared to this year. It's just stats in general around the NFL this year are not as high. They're especially quarterback numbers. You got to remember, we were in an era, we were very spoiled. These guys were throwing for 38, 4,000 yards, 5,000 yards at a regular basis. Peyton Manning on Denver was throwing 5,050 touchdowns, and nobody blinked or said anything. Yeah, 840, and nobody said anything. Now, you got these guys barely getting a 30, 35 touchdowns and barely getting a 4,000 yards, and you can try to compare the two, and it's like, how can you? Especially when you have guys like Hill and McCaffrey who are putting up those ungodly numbers in the same setup, but yet you're still giving it to a quarterback. It doesn't make sense. If this is the year you give the MVP to a non-quarterback, this is the year because the stats for quarterbacks just aren't there.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? I think it just comes like there's some, I don't know how or why it's happened, but there's much more. It's much more any given Sunday in the NFL compared to when we were kids. The Patriots and the Colts and some other teams would have 14-2, 15-1 seasons. Like we are not even in the same stratosphere as that. There are so many teams that are the fact that the Packers are one game out of the playoffs
at 7-8
is wild to me. But there are so many 8-7, 7-8 teams this year. And I mean, if the best record is 12-3 in the NFL, I just think that's so weird. And I guess just distribution of talent. I don't know if the salary cap or something has changed, but
quarterback play.
What?
Quarterback play. Quarterback play around the NFL is below par. And that's what I'm saying. We were so spoiled for so many years of seeing so many guys play at a high level. Like, do you know how mad Sean Payton is now that he has to deal with Russell Wilson's bullshit when he had Drew Brees for 10 years, and Drew Brees was the prototypical guy, played tough as hell, played every game, leader, all those things that quarterbacks like are. You have a handful of guys that have those qualities in today's game. where you had about 10 of them between Roethlisberger, Rivers. Not saying they all won Super Bowls, but Roethlisberger, Rivers, Rodgers, Manning, Brady. That's just right off the top of my head. I just named 5. You can't even do that now with these quarterbacks. They're so mediocre. And that's why you look around the league and there's 10 quarterback opening positions, 10 head coaching vacancies, because the quarterback play is such shit.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ain't wrong, Gregory.
I'm not the brightest man, but I know that.
Gavin said it's the year of the backup QB. I mean, Flacco.
Yeah, what's the stat? This is from the week 1 starters to now. It's had the most
quarterback change.
quarterback
yeah.
start
Really?
since most backups or non-starting quarterbacks start since 1940.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I mean, think of Joe Flacco, Gardner Minshew,
Zach Wilson.
Well, we take a dive on that name, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It really is. And I mean, look at Minshew and Flacco. They have their teams in playoff position. Really shouldn't be, but here we are, But guys, do we have anything else we want to add, college football wise, pro football wise, to this?
I'm good, man. I hope you guys have a happy New Year, and then we'll see you next year.
Yep. See you next year. Happy New Year, everyone.
You guys got anything you want to promote or?
No, I said it the last time. Follow me on Twitter. I give my picks out. I'm 30 games over 500 this year. 84 and 54 record on Twitter at Greg Sika. Follow me. I'm not a professional, but I'm better than all of you. So
that means something, right?
That sounds like a wrestling promo right there. I like it.
That's my motto.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining me on this stream. Thank you for joining me in 2024. Thank you to my guests for joining me. Matty, I'll see you in about 2 minutes. Greg, I'll see you soon. I actually have to talk to you about something off air. No worries. Everybody, have a safe and happy New Year. We will see you in 2024. And I'm Bobby from Bobby's Breakdowns. We'll see you next time, guys. Later.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye, guys.